listening to WHCR 90.3 FM with DJ EMAN. Setting off the night was Purple Crush with Your Love, Cold Air by Johnny Miller, Samboys BSB, Optic by New York City's very own Spa Music, and Who's in Charge by Silhouette Brown. Once again, this is DJ E-Man holding it down on the wheels of steel tonight. My name is Miss Kia Starr, your usual hostess of the evening, here each and every night from 8 p.m. to 12 a.m. And if you want to catch DJ E-Man, you can find him every Friday night at Bang the Party, presented by LORIE CAVAL and E-Man himself at 205 Club, located at 205 Christie Street on the corner of Stanton. This week's guest DJ is Romaine. I got a couple of passes that I'm going to give away for Friday, so I'm going to go ahead and open up the phone lines. Call us up, 212-491-2685, and I'm going to take caller number 15. Don't forget you're checking out WHCR 90.3 FM. Keep it locked, y'all.
My name is LORIE CAVAL, and I am the co-promoter, co-founder of Bang the Party. I met Eric E-Man Clark because he was throwing a party at Frank's, which is where we throw Bang the Party right now, in 1995 or 1996. I was at that time writing nightclub reviews, and he wanted me to write about his party at Frank's, which was called Hot Buttered Soul.
This is where it all began for E-Man.
Not really.
No, not really. Actually, my first paying gig in New York City was the Ritz. I had a couple of gigs there playing different R&B shows. I can't even believe that basically here, I'm at Sapphire, I've been here for almost, 10 years DJing. This is the first place that I got my DJ gigs going off. Jahan was the first person who gave me a chance to be a DJ here, like on a regular basis. 205 is right around the corner. That's where we started Bang. And what's funny about the whole situation was I never even thought that we would even do something as long, because when we first started, it was just a random idea that somebody basically threw at us to do an extra party. So I just didn't think that it would last as long as it did, or even generate as much interest as.
Well, when we started Bang the Party in 1997, you and I had been already doing parties together for 2 years before that?
Yeah, something like that.
And we were doing mostly hip-hop parties, and they were going really well for us. And we started doing Bang the Party because Chuck made a suggestion that we should just pick up an extra night at 205 Christie on Friday, and we wanted to do something different, so we said go ahead and try house music.
Right.
Chuck was smart enough to say, guess what? Fridays are open. Yeah. Why don't y'all do some old house shit? Chuck. 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 That's right.
That's how it happened, kid.
Chuck had one good idea. He was smart enough to say, hey, Fridays are opening up.
Yeah.
Maybe you should do a fucking house party.
That was how it went, kid.
Boy.
And that's when
Talk about hindsight, boy. Bang!
If I had to define house music to someone who really does not know the definition of house music, I would say that it is a Latin-inspired dance music. Well, if I'm defining soulful house music as a dance music that's based on gospel, jazz, soul, Latin, Afro-Cuban rhythms, which vocals are relatively uplifting in most of its lyrical content. Not always, but most times. And it's most of the time it's based in a 4/4 rhythm. And it's music that is basically made for people to dance to. That's what I think might define it for someone who doesn't know it, if they needed to know the vision of it. Because basically, if you talk to somebody, if you talk to the average person who doesn't know about house music, and you say house music, they're gonna do something like, they're gonna go like, oh yeah, I know what house music is. Yeah, CNC Music Factory. Everybody get down. Because that's the last time they might have seen something that related to house music. You know what I mean? That might have been the only thing that they ever saw, or I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? But those are the kind of things. Or like I've even heard even stupider phrases like that. You're like, oh, house music all night long, which is a fucking Jungle Brothers track, which isn't even house music, but it just happened to have like a house music beat that they took from a house music record and put rap over it. You know what I mean? So, you have to clearly define what.
Music is the driving force of the universe. Music is the driving force of the universe. Music is the driving force of the universe. Music is the driving force of the universe.
We moved around a few times to different venues. We got kicked out of there, and because the owner hated us, me in particular. We moved to Club 13, moved to Bar 85, and then we ended up at Baktoon. And after Baktoon, we were only able to be there once a month because he wanted to have weekend parties only once a month. We came here for a party one night, and I said to Eric, why not try to do it here on the other nights besides the once a month that we were at Baktoon? And he thought it was a good idea, so we tried it, and it was a great success. And then we started doing it once a month here at Frank's, and then we started doing it every week except for the first week of the month, which was at Baktoon in Manhattan. And then Baktoon could not get their dancing license straight, their cabaret license. We had to leave there, and then we started being at Frank's every Friday.
With all the changing of the guard as far as like Giuliani implementing such strong and strict, basically the legislation that Giuliani put into practice made it almost impossible for people to function. He brought cabaret licensing, a law that hadn't been used the 1800s. Yeah. You know what I mean? Back into effect to the point where it was crippling nightlife in New York. I never thought it would be a time in New York where it would really be illegal to dance. It's like, I don't believe it. I can't believe it. It's like a bad dream from Footloose. You know what I mean? Where you can't dance in New York City. It's like, I just can't. I don't understand it. I don't want to understand it. So until they just basically shut me down from being a DJ in New York, I'm gonna play music that makes people dance. Because to me, there's no such thing as me DJing a party that people come to hear me play music that they're not gonna dance.
When we got at Frank's, and we were there every week, and it started to catch on. LORIE did a little bit of promo, and publicity started jumping off. Next thing you know, Frank's, not like it wasn't on the map before, but once we got there, we banged the party every week. It was getting written out. You know, they're getting written up. Frank is doing interviews. We're getting interviewed for papers. Village Voices, we're talking about it's one of the best bars in the city. Actually, Frank's, along with Bang the Party, got picked as one of the 100 things to do. Like in the new, remember 2000, new millennium, everybody was bugging out. We got picked as one of the 100 things to do on New Year's Eve in the whole, in the city, which is kind of
100 things to do. It was the cover story of the best things to do.
I thought it was enough. I thought it was enough.
Maybe 10 things.
But it was like we got picked for that, which was kind of a nice thing. But in that moment, man, in the year 2000, it just went somewhere crazy at Frank's where the party was going. It was just like.
Yeah, every week. Yeah, consistent. It wasn't a question, and that's the thing that's interesting. Like after doing this one party for 6 years, the one thing for me as a organizer for the party is that in no other venue have I been able to feel so at ease. Like no matter what it looks like, when I get there, no matter how slow it starts. When we were at Frank's, I knew I'll look at my watch at whatever time, whenever it was 1 o'clock or something, and I knew, guaranteed, it was going to be full, it was going to be jumping, it was going to be sweaty, it was going to be bright, and that's really a rarity. I don't know, at least from my point of view, like every other party we've ever done at every other venue, it's always, like there's that certain time where the clock starts to hit midnight, and you're getting nervous because you're like, well, maybe it's not going to be great, or maybe it's going to suck, maybe people aren't going to show up, or, it's like, but that place was very, very consistent. Like we really had something, whatever it was, like everything was connecting there.
My name is Frank Perkins. I'm the owner of Frank's Lounge for the last 28 years. And I've been here for that long because of my customers, which I have quite a few good ones. Friday night Bang the Party have been a tremendous uplifting, and it's been great. That's all I can say about Bang the Party. It's been great.
Well, it's usually so packed that you can't get in here.
No, don't use that word, man. Hell, the first thing you know, you have to fire the fire department. So you always, okay?
I know EMAN since basically I moved here just about 10 to 12 years ago, 87. I DJ'd for him. I've been to his party. I love Bang the Party. One of the things that I remember always is the floor movement. You go to the party and you go on the dance floor and the floor is just vibrating, like everybody just like dancing the same rhythm, and you feel like, oh my God. Actually, you think about it, you're like, wait a second, this is one of the oldest buildings in Brooklyn. This fucking floor is gonna break down! But it's not. And it's just vibrating and people are bouncing. And that's what I love about it. And I'm always gonna be there for him. Peace.
What was nice about Bang the Party, I think, is that we brought the best elements of the parties that we had been doing together for the years prior to that. And we saw what worked and what didn't work, and we sort of put it all together in Bang the Party in a way. Like the live painters, the artists, the DJs, you started to not only be the resident DJ, but you gave other people the opportunity to play with you. So we had all of these new people coming all the time to share their talents with the crowd, and then also inviting so many, having not an exclusive environment, but an inclusive environment. So we had all these different kind of people coming to the parties and having fun, and then all of the artists sharing their talents who were different pretty much every week. So it was really, I think, dynamic and different than what was going on in nightclubs at that time, especially in house music, because at that time in 1997 the only house music parties were at the really big clubs.
I had just moved up from South Carolina, and I was working in this coffee shop. This gentleman, right, named Bobby. So Bobby, I asked him, I said, well, where do you go to hang out or whatever downtown? And I always heard the Village, but I never really went. So there was this place called the Chameleon Lounge that was just infamous, right? Well, infamous to me. And what happened was I walked in, and there was a gentleman that was painting in the corner. So I looked, and I was like, well, I could do that. You know, I always doodled and just graffiti and art and everything. I just always did it. So what happened was I asked someone, I said, well, who is the organizer or whatever? So I'm looking for some like art critic, whatever, uptight. So then I see LORIE, right? And she had her hair down like kind of like Egyptian. And it was like jet black. And you had on like a leopard skin, like print outfit, like Josie and the Pussycats. So I asked her, I was like, I said, well, you know, I paint, blah, blah, blah. I'll show you a portfolio. So she was like, I don't need to see all of that. Just come next week and you can paint here. So I was like, without seeing my work, and she was like, well, if your work is corny, you won't get paid. If your work is corny, you're just going to get laughed at. So that was it. So then the next week I came down, I told all my friends or whatever, and I was just like so nervous, the brush was slipping out my hand and stuff. And that was it. I turned around and I just had like a crowd of people behind me. And that was that.
What's up? My name is Lays. Here to pretty much support Bang the Party. I'm here to support Jackson Brown. He's a really solid cat, and he's very, very gifted. And basically, man, I'm just you know, a big fan of Bang the Party. As far as my art, as far as not graffiti, which is art, I've hit the canvases, and I've taken my style to a whole nother level, and I'm very into eyes. And you know how they say, the eyes are the window of the soul, and I just, I'm into like painting eyes, and when I paint them and I'm done, you know, it's like almost created like a being, you know, almost created like an entity. So it's like when I do my paintings, you know, basically, like I'll sit back and, you know, it's like I created something that I can look into its eyes, and it almost has a life, you know. So it's almost like one of my children, you know. It's crazy like that. But I love art, man. I love art. I love to express myself in all types of ways, and basically, man, I'm here to do my thing, you know. And you're gonna be hearing about me because I'm here to make a difference.
Yo, I'm here with Sam. We're in Brooklyn. It's Sunday. We're chilling. This is a mural that these guys from Canada did this summer. Heavyweight art installation, and they do amazing artwork. So I was playing here one Sunday afternoon. They had a big party and barbecue here, and they decided that they were going to do a mural about, you know, just capture me in the moment. So that's how this mural got here. I guess it's going to be up for another couple of months, but I don't know what they got planned to do with it, but when it comes down, I'm going to crack for it. So that's the reality behind it right about now. I'm going to crack for it.
My name is Farzia Massi. I am a graduate student at Columbia University, and I've been doing a research project on Bang the Party for about a year and a half now. I wrote a master's thesis about Bang the Party for the program I'm in, which is ethnomusicology up at Columbia. The paper is divided into 3 sections. One is about the party, which talks about what house music is. It talks about it in terms of the history of New York and Chicago. Luckily for me, there have been some good books written about disco and about turntablism and about DJs and dancers in the past few years, both academic books and more popular sources. One of which was written by Kai Fikenscher, excellent book.
My name is Kai Fikenscher. I'm the author of a book titled You Better Work Underground Dance Music in New York. And to promote this book, to celebrate its release, I met Eric through a mutual friend who suggested that I do it at the place that he had Wednesday evening residence at. Well, Bang's an interesting environment because it's not the same every week. The way Eric programs it is he has different guest DJs, including myself, and so there's a certain unpredictability of variety every week that makes it attractive for me, as opposed to somebody who, I just had a conversation with somebody who said, no, I want more consistency. I want to go to a place and be able to predict what's going to be there, the music of that place. At Bang, you have that in the sense that Eric plays his music every Friday, but you also have the idea of being exposed to a new person, a guest DJ who might just be there for that one particular evening and not come back for, it's not quite some time.
I did Bang the Party every week for over 6 years. And through that time, we had so many people coming on a regular basis, and regulars who stayed with us, maybe not some people stayed through the whole 6 years, and some people, came consistently for a time. And I think that the relationships made in the party and the people who were regulars and who became personalities of the party were so important to what made it special and different. And some of those people, like, of course, Doug Murrayfield, our resident dancer.
My name's Doug. I've probably been thrown out of 50% of the dance clubs I've ever gone into. EMAN found me and gave me a home. That's why I'm here. Sometimes I go a little too far. Tonight, they told me I went a little too far, and I apologize, but my goal here is to push the limits as far as I can, and when I go too far, I step back. The way I see house music is it gives you space, a lot of space, to do the hell whatever you want to do, because that's what they're doing with themselves. They're creating space with music so we can all move in it. It's like providing an environment for, any fucking thing you want to do. I mean, it's limitless. The body is incredibly powerful in the right environment. That's my whole philosophy. The body scares the shit out of people! They're afraid of it! They're afraid of my body! Out of control! But you see, I'm perfectly in control. I'm just buffing these people. Come on!
I grew up in Minnesota, actually a suburb of Minneapolis called Bloomington, Minnesota. I grew up in a very religious family. We were not allowed to dance. Eventually I became a Lutheran minister and moved to Buffalo, New York. I was there about 5 years. in the course of those 5 years, I ended up getting divorced and went through some pretty bad depression, and something told me to start dancing. I don't know, to fight depression. So I started dancing and I really liked it. And eventually I decided to move to New York to pursue it full time. So I spent about 10 years at the Martha Graham School and also did classical ballet. But in the course of about 20 years of being here, it became clear to me that dance on stage was basically dying. And I started looking for places where I could just go do what I needed to do to feel alive again. Technique is important. It's absolutely important. But eventually, you gotta let go of it all and just find your own way with dance. So I started going to clubs, and I got thrown out of a lot of them because they considered what I did dangerous, or I was upsetting customers. And it was at that point that I realized this is powerful. People really react to this. So I started exploring it, and eventually EMAN and I met, and rather than throwing me out of his club where he was playing, they let me stay. So eventually I stayed with him and have been dancing to his music for years and years.
My name is Louis Vargas. I've been partying since the wee days. I was yay high, chasing my brother around the dance floor underneath the balloons at the loft. My mother used to take me dancing when, first time, my brother was 5 and I was 8. And kind of went to a couple of parties here and there, but you know, you're only fucking 8. The garage, you ain't going nowhere. By the time I got old enough to hanging out, it was said and done. But, you know, resurrected and found some new friends at Bang, where they, you know, let you do whatever you like. Make as much noise as you need to. Put a little baby powder on the floor if that's what works. And, you know, share the love. Slice it off and have a bite.
My name is Jennifer Gerald, and I'm a visual and performance artist. And I first started going to Bang when it was at 13. That was in, that was like in 90, wow, what was that? 96, I think it was, or later. Maybe it was about 97, somewhere 97. And it was so funny. Actually, that summer I was so broke, and I remember going one day, and I went with somebody who didn't really like house music, didn't like the old style house music, and I loved it. The party was so fat. I stayed for hours, and I was with these people, and I said, okay, bump these people. I'm gonna go back by myself. And I remember going back by myself, and all I did was dance. All I did was dance. I remember I saw EMAN, and he said, the next time I see you, you come for free. And it was so cool because I was so broke that summer, and I had a terrible summer. And that was the best part, and I came every week. I came every week without fail. I mean, it was my salvation. It was the thing that got me through the summer, and there was so much going on in my life. My life was in such transition. So it did a lot for me. When I go to dance, I go to sweat. And just like tonight, I came, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting there thinking, it's a Friday night, I don't have anything to do. I was like, and I know what I really want to do. And I debated it. I fought myself all night long until about 2 o'clock. And I said, fuck it, I'm going. And the music moves me like nothing else. In the beginning, it's weird. I'm a crazy dancer, but I have a method. When I first start out, I just sort of, you know, I'm just kind of shaking it out, you know, just kind of feeling out the beat and everything. And just like the music climaxes, that's how I move, you know. I begin to move and I do some like real simple shit, you know, after a while. And I'm pretty incognito. But when it hits me, when they hit me with that song, it takes me about 3 songs usually. Hits me with that song and it's on. I am a fool, I'm jumping. My thing is to jump up, and what I'm trying to do is, I feel at one point I feel like I'm gonna pop, like I'm gonna exude this vibe to everyone, and I'm trying to give it to everyone who's around me. It always bothers me when I walk into a dance floor and it's crowded full of people who are drinking and drinking and sitting around. Because that's not what the dance floor is for. That's what the bar is for. And I'm a big advocate of it. You're going to be at the bar and you're going to be drinking, or you're going to be at the dance floor and you're going to be there. Even if you move through the crowd to go to the bathroom, you should move. You know what I mean? And it's about feeling the vibe of the people for me. I really like, I come in and I gauge the vibe of the people. I check out what's going on, and the vibe's always different. Sometimes it's really mellow and smooth, and I flow with that. Sometimes it's really hot and jumping, and I flow with that. So I flow with whatever's going on. It's really about feeling that vibe. And when I find a DJ that turns me on, I stick with it. It's like a hairdresser, you know? I don't change up. You know what I mean? It's like you should. It's just, you know, it helps me, you know? I feel that, you know, I'm dancing for the music and the music is playing for me. It's reciprocal for me.
My name is Tom Terrell. I've been in New York now since 1990 and came from DC. And down in DC I was a radio DJ on WHFS, which was an alternative rock station. I was one of the top radio DJs in the city and also one of the top club DJs in the city. I lived in Manhattan on First Avenue between 8th and 9th, and I was brought here by Brian Backus. Anyway, let's just keep saying this. Brian Backus was the head of Antilles Records. He brought me to do radio promotion, and that's how I met E. Because Brian lived out here. I live out here now. Brian lived out here, and of course E was part of the crew, and that's how I got introduced to Frank's. And then we had like a DJ thing going for a while back in the old days when this was basically just a big house come lounge, come like neighborhood hanging spot. And this room right here, well, there's so many stories in this room I can't even talk about. But this was the place, and that's how I got introduced to E-Man way back in 1990-91. House music, you know, the first moment I heard it, what I loved about it was, unfortunately, I missed the whole Paradise Garage thing. Because I was living in DC, we all heard about it, but I could never seem to get up to come up to when it was happening. But nonetheless, house music, I mean, you know, it was like, when I first heard it, I said, dang, the piano, the old shit, the piano, the gospel piano, the sweet vocals, the R&B, or like Byron Stingley's, the other, and the sisters and everything. I mean, it was such a really deep music to me. It just did so much. You know, it's just party music, make you sweat, make you feel good. And it had that R&B thing, but it also had that boom, 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 boom. Basically, the essence of, to me, good house music is tribal. And Bang the Party is tribal. And it's just, you know, I come here, you know, and I can like sweat because I'm a journalist, so I only write at night. So I come here for about an hour and just like sweat, get out. Even if I don't dance, I'm going to sweat. And I get out and I get open and the pores move, and that's like, okay, now I can go home and be up to 6 in the morning and do my writing, do my interviews, do my music articles, do my record reviews, and boom. But like, and he's let me play a couple times. It's nice, man, because like people are open, you know, and it's just a beautiful scene. And I was telling a little while ago, it's just such a nice scene in a very ugly city.
I don't know. At this point, it's just very beautiful. I don't really know what direction this place could take right now. The vibe is very nice here. I really enjoy doing the party here at Frank's. I don't really want to grow out of it. I really don't want to grow out of this space because I believe in my heart that the intimacy of this place makes for the energy that comes here. It's all of the DJs that come here and play feel that it's very intense because it's very tight and small and cramped, and people have to respect each other because they're gonna interact with each other. You know what I mean? And it's very easy to distance yourself from people when you're in a larger space, but when the place is very small and intimate, you have to work on, you know, being less, you know, involved in your space and being more involved in what's going on.
With popularity came people who just heard about Frank's. They didn't know Bang the Party. They just heard that Frank's is banging on Friday night. There's lines around the block waiting to get in. You know, that's basically all they knew about what went on there on Friday night. So it was a combination of our party and what went on, but eventually those two crowds clashed. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, we had guys that we really were not appreciating in there. You know, there's a different dynamic
from someone who comes to this parties of these magnitude, like to do house music, and people who attend bars, you know what I mean? Maybe to pick up women, or women who come to pick up men. It's just like, it's much more aggressive, you know what I'm saying? And I think in this whole house community, I'm not saying that there's not an element of pickup that goes on, because there truly is, but I'm just saying that it's much more subtle and it's a lot more respectful, and a lot of women in this scene really don't have to worry about, because basically a lot of people mostly know each other, and there's that mutual respect because they do know each other, but even if they don't, there's just a limited, there's an amount of respect that's just given. And when we had these clashings of people, a lot of times, you know, women friends of mine were getting harassed by young thugs that were like grabbing them or stepping to them in a manner they weren't really used to coming to my event. And you know, it was getting back to me, you know, man, people grab me up at Frank's now, you know, this, that, and the other. So we tried to address some of these problems, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we just felt like we had to remove ourselves from it. There was no other way. We have felt like we really took such a long time to make Bang the Party one thing, that at that time we really felt like we needed to find somewhere to define it. And so we tried to make Opaline that place.
We were at Opaline for about 8 months.
I love the venue.
He loved it. Jackson,
I love the venue.
Jackson Brown loved it. I didn't really love it. I liked it when we first went there. I loved it. You know, before, when we visited there, when we were first moving there. After time, what I disliked about it, I think, is what a lot of people general consensus was. Really, there were small things that sort of, you know, for house music kind of make the party, like, you know, the system was really not right. You know, it was good, but it just wasn't like, for whatever reason, there was, all the speakers were, right, they were high up, you didn't feel it, you didn't hear it right, and a lot of people didn't like that. It also wasn't cozy, like, you know, at Frank's, people, where we had just moved from Frank's to Opaline, Frank's was very cozy, felt like somebody's apartment. Opaline was a lot nicer, a lot prettier, bigger, but not as warm, and I think people wanted to be able to interact and just feel, you know, like cozier for whatever reason. You know, it was those little things about it that people just didn't catch on, and it could have caught on, I think, if people would have continuously come out, you know, every week and give it the chance. And we gave them the opportunity by creating memberships, free memberships, where people would be able to get in for either free up until a certain time, or less, you know, less admission than a regular general admission. We really wanted to encourage that, but for whatever reason, people didn't come back in force. And what happened was, it ended up being, the result was that some weeks we would have 150 people, which was way too little for that space, and it just looked like, oh, the party's not really happening. And then we'd have a special event, we'd have like 500 people, and it would be packed.
Hey, so listen, this is our last night at Opaline. How long were we here?
About 8 months.
We've been here 8 months, and then we got a call last week saying that it was our last party. And boy, the diversity in 1 week, man, your brain will start fucking spinning like a top. So me and LORIE, you know, we decided we weren't gonna be here anymore, because they already decided for us we have to leave. So, you know, house music feels like it's gotta, you know, they come out on the first night and they come out on the last night, but they don't come in between. And the in-between is what kills clubs. The in-between is killing, you know, the scene. So think about the in-between when you people, you know, underground black house music is something that goes on sometimes, but not all the time. So you should think about that the next time you want to decide how good my party is or isn't. Because now we're going back to Brooklyn, which everybody seems to be quite pleased with. So, you know, I'm gonna let LORIE tell you how she feels. It can be totally different from what I just said, but
It's not totally different. I think that the reason why we had to leave Opaline is basically because the numbers weren't totally consistent every week. We had, some weeks we would have 400, 450 people, and the next week we'd have like 150 people. and for a space of this size, obviously, it has to be more consistent. The bar has to make money on a consistent basis. So we were asked to leave, and they're going to book a party that they think is going to do better. And also, in terms of what Eric was saying about people not coming out all the time, I think it's important to note that we are in a real economic crisis right now. We're in a depression, and a lot of our people that come to Bang the Party are working class people, and a lot of people, you know, they just don't really have money to come out regularly right now. A lot of
they are definitely not buying a bottle of Chris.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no doubt.
just so you know,
And a lot of
they're
our
not popping
people-
Chris.
Situation anyway.
And a lot of our people do live in Brooklyn, and a night out in Brooklyn, paying maybe $5 and walking to the spot and buying a couple of drinks is definitely different than coming to Manhattan, taking a cab back and forth, paying admission, buying drinks, which are, you know, more expensive here. So I think it's important to note that I think that, yes, it's sometimes people aren't supporting the scene as much as they should, but also that people are in a real situation right now. A lot of us are. And, you know, just for the record, the party that they're booking next is one that they feel that the crowd is not really as affected by, you know, by the economic situation right now. It's a different kind of music, it's a different kind of crowd. And, you know, and I think that, you know, that's business and that's the reality and it's
And I
fair.
hope they do
and that's
well.
the name of the game.
But you're gonna get a chance to see the part 2 of what we do as we come back to Brooklyn after our, like, you know, little hiatus, which we totally needed, because what we were doing in Brooklyn was starting to be affected by our neighborhood, and now we've left and we're gonna come back and we're gonna create something totally different, and it's gonna be good again. And we'll see how long we have to, like, come back and tell you updates. Hopefully you'll get a consistent flow of what goes on, and perhaps we'll be at this place for a while. But just remember, 5.5 years we've been on this trek to keep this party going. So now the only thing we're gonna have to worry about is 1 week in between the time that the party is ending and the party's gonna begin again. I can live with 1 week. I
And we're
really
switching
can.
to Saturday.
Yeah, and the party's gonna
first
be on
time after
Saturday instead of Friday night. I don't think it's gonna be like we're gonna be too affected by that. But we'll see. We could. But I'm sure that it's not gonna be that deep. So thanks. It was just like a literal kook magnet of the best that New York had to offer. You know what I mean? We got guys who jump off bridges, you know what I mean? They hang out, you know what I mean? This guy showed me a picture of him in the Daily News, diving off the Brooklyn Bridge.
My name is Margo. I guess I've been partying all my life, but I would say when I went on my own, I left home about 15. And at that age, because I was on my own, it was in the streets, I did party. I went to Woodstock, the original, and I used to go to the Electric Circus, which is the father of all clubs. So I got a degree in dance. Didn't start out that way, but I have an actual degree from Hunter College. I'm a dance teacher. And I've taught in schools, I've taught in public schools, and dances, I was born to dance. It's that simple. I perform. I'm a very good athlete, very great athlete. I've had over 8 Olympic coaches in fencing alone. I took lessons from the guy who taught Earl Flynn, Faulkner, in Hollywood, lived with him. Guy was 90 years old, one eye, but you couldn't get through him. I was so fast. I had to slow down so the judges could see me. That's how fast I was. And yet, this blind old guy, I couldn't get through him. He was amazing. I was training for the 1980 Olympics, which just brings me to why I dove off the Brooklyn Bridge. I couldn't walk for 3 years, and I made a pact with my goddess. She said, do this and you'll be well. The other thing was I brought all kinds of balloons and stuff and paper and paint to have signs talking about the fact that in this country, artists and athletes are not subsidized. And so then I did get up to the bridge. I climbed for many hours, climbed up the cables, not through the walkway. I climbed up. I was dressed as a clown, kind of, Marple Marx. One of my heroes is Harpo. And I didn't speak, and I climbed around with the people on the bridge before I went up. And when I got to the top of the bridge, I took a rest because I had been climbing for a half hour, and all of a sudden I noticed cops coming up and under me. So I climbed down a little bit, and I waved goodbye, and I dove off the bridge. This is me climbing up. As you can see, if I fall off the water, there are no hooks. These are ninja shoes, stabby shoes, because I was a kung fu, a martial artist. Over here, I'm climbing. As you see, I'm getting up towards the top. Over here and over here, that's the top. Over here is where I came down just a little and then dove off. I have my top hat off there. I have a white top hat and tails.
I used to love to take the ride into Manhattan from Brooklyn, where I would, have a car pick me up and take me into the city for my gigs. And I used to love to ride over Manhattan Bridge at night and just kind of like clear my head before I go to the gig. I wouldn't really have music in the car before I went. 9/11 might have been the first time in the whole time any event ever competed with a birthday event that I'd given. I always gave a party on the 13th of September, and this event was so devastating that people were just freaked out in New York at the time, you know what I mean? And it just made for a very weird time between that time and my birthday. And not only that, but it was just a weird time for the world. I remember me and Lori just deciding that we were going to do an event that day, because since we had planned to do it, and we just decided to just give the proceeds to the closest fire department, closest to our neighborhood. We just hoped that the money that we donated did some good for some people. You know what I mean?
I'm a construction project manager. I love what I do. My passion is building and dancing. I've been dancing as long as I can remember, but I used to dance like mostly to hip-hop music and R&B until about 10, maybe 12 years ago. One of my first experiences as well with dance music was at Bang the Party, and it was awesome. I was watching the people dance, and I thought, damn, the movement is so fluid. It wasn't like restricted like hip-hop, you know what I mean? And R&B, there's a lot of pop in it. Like, I love the music because of the way that it allows me to be free. You know, like when I dance, I feel like it's as if like nothing can touch me.
Sable, when she was there for years singing every week along with you when we were at Frank's Lounge.
Yeah.
Sable really made it special with her, you know, like hosting on the microphone and singing and really connecting with the crowd, and you did that also.
Yeah, and then basically, but her though, did my first record with her. You know, so that was kind of cool. And then like she's somebody I knew for a long time, but it was just nice to bring her back into the fold and have her involved with something that was really, really cool. And you know.
Hi, my name is Sable Jeffries, otherwise known as Sweet Sable, and I host Bang the Party. Well, basically, I sing throughout the entire party, and that's a part of what we call here hosting. I sing over tracks, house music tracks that are played, you know, most of the non-vocal ones. And, I just talk a lot of stuff to the crowd and, hype them up, try to keep them dancing all night. E, I grew up with, sort of. We grew up in the same neighborhood. I've known him for a long time. But we really got to know each other once I started going to the Loft back in the day when the Loft was on Prince Street. And we became friends from there. Gee, we bumped heads and he said, Sable, you need to work with me. And I said, all right. And he kept saying, come down to the club. I want you to come down. I want you to sing at the club. So one night I came down and I sang. And I had so much fun. I said, I'm going to come back. And I did. And it developed into an actual job. And that's what I do here. And what we did last May 2000, we went out to Chicago with his friend Darren, who's a wonderful, completely extraordinary producer. And we did a song named Day by Day, which I wrote, and E and Darren did all production for.
We were at Opaline, and people, like I said, we had a little bit of a backlash. The people had wanted us to be in Brooklyn. They, for some reason, people were very adamant about us wanting to move our party back to Brooklyn. At that time, while we were at Opaline, we were already in discussions with 667 to do a Saturday night party there. We were going to do something totally different. We were going to do Honey Pie, which we were talking about when we got the word from Opaline that our numbers were not consistent enough and they wanted us to leave. So we decided, since there were no Friday night venues really available to us at the time, and 667 was open to doing a house music night, and had done one on a Saturday night there before in the past, we decided we'll go ahead and we'll just move Bang the Party to a Saturday night at 667, starting, as soon as we could, which was a few weeks.
Because at this point we have no fear moving.
Right. So we moved it there, and I have to say that I think the reaction of the crowd, who were all like, oh, move back to Brooklyn, wasn't as good as I had hoped. I don't know about you. It wasn't like really all bells and whistles like, like we had thought it would be, or like we were sort of led to believe that it might have been. Our first few weeks there were jam-packed. The place really isn't that big. I don't know what its capacity is, but we were having like about 300 people a night, and it was wall-to-wall bodies and like really not even any space to dance. So I think that it was good on one hand because it showed that people were interested, but it was bad in the sense that I think people were not comfortable because they really didn't have any space. We couldn't fit that many people in there. So, and then just in terms of, we went from being kind of at Opaline, we had stepped up to being a bigger party in a bigger space, to going to a small venue, actually even smaller than Frank's. So it kind of scaled everything down. It scaled down the amount of cover charge that we could charge, the amount of money that we would make to be able to put back into the party, to promote, to do interesting things, to, you know, whatever. Like we really scaled back. I felt like we took one step forward to go to Opally, and we took 2 steps back to go to 667, just in terms of the size. Not that it's not a nice enough venue, or, you know.
Basically my favorite dancer, like for 20 years, friend of mine, Loft, the whole shit. He's the ultimate.
Right here.
He's the ultimate when it comes to dancing, bro. So all the rest of you people just take notes, because he's laying it down. Him and Willie, Ninja, big up Willie, they laying it down. They laying it down. So, just know and understand. It's nothing personal.
My name is Archie Burnett. You might say I've been in the scene for like 25, 30 years. Yes, I'm 44 years old. And as far as I'm concerned, it's not over till it's over, you know? This is a lifestyle. This is the way we live, the way we love, the way we dance, and there's nothing else better. It's like breathing, it's life. As we very well know right now, in the climate, the way things are, you know, we can't always have the best situation, but at least in here we can bring our own world to us. Truth of the fact is, the more this is exposed, the music is infectious. EMAN alone, there are many, many, many DJs that still do what we do. And the important thing is that it has to keep going. The vibe is strong, the vibe is there. And I guarantee, you come one time, you'll be hooked for life. Right?
You got it, my friend.
You got that. Okay?
Define flavor. You just have it or you don't have it. This brother's got flavor. You understand? That's all. That's all.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. I've been dancing over 30-something years. I love the house. Started since '84, Paradise Garage. Going to the Loft. And basically dancing is part of my life. I love it. It's a passion. EMAN and many others. I just love being together with them and just vibing with them, you know. And basically, me, Archie, a bunch of other dancers that I would love to mention, Chino 3, Carlos, a lot of them that are not here today, like Perry, and you know, many more. But they inspired me, and through my dancing, I try to remember their movement and bring it out. My style is just free. I love to keep it freestyle, basically straight to the point, nice and smooth, and just being around the family, basically, you know, and keeping it just together.
6 years today. All right, we're on the side. 6 years today. Julian and these people are running inside now because me and LORIE just got 6 years old tonight.
We got
me
6 years old.
We got 6 years old tonight.
And what do we have to say about it? We're
It's
tired.
nice. It's very nice. It's a very nice party. But you have to weigh into consideration that Shelter had Shaka Khan in Central Park today. And either people are at Shelter or they're in here. But this is like totally packed with sweltering with people. So either they went to one or two places. So that's kind of cool. But it was nice to, you know, it was nice to be here tonight. You know, be 6 years old. But we have some more things in store for you that we're not even going to divulge now. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We think we're moving. We think we're moving back to Friday nights. And we're going to do Bang on Friday again in a bigger space. Because that's what we really want to be doing.
This music to another level. Do we live and breathe this music? Do we walk it? Do we talk it?
I'm Jellybean Benitez. I've been DJing since 1975. maybe before that actually, but that's when I first started actually practicing every day in my bedroom. And I got my first paying gig in January of '76. Probably in the early 80s, like 82, 83 is when I first started really trying to make records. I somehow convinced myself that I could make better records than the ones I was playing. Just wanted to try to create things. I wasn't a musician, I just did everything on feel. And somehow convinced record producers to let me remix their records so that they could become more club friendly. And that started my remixing career, which eventually grew and snowballed into the opportunity to produce records. And the first record that I ever produced was by a then unknown artist named Madonna, and the song was Holiday. And that song sort of launched my career as a record producer. The first time I went to Bang the Party, I think they were at Opaline, actually. And then I ended up playing, I think that was the first, yeah, it was the first time I played at Bang the Party, was at Opaline. I really enjoy and respect what EMAN and LORIE have built over the last few years into a place where people can come and have a great time, and the audience is very knowledgeable and very open to being taken on a journey. I believe that people that haven't had an opportunity to go to Bang the Party needed a way to experience it. A lot of people have heard about Bang the Party all over the United States, all over the world, but never could experience it. And I really felt what EMAN was doing was really special, and I wanted to somehow capture a moment in time and put it on something that people would be able to relate to. And it's hard to capture 6+ years of doing something into 75 minutes on a CD, but I believe that what EMAN's done is really going to be a good representation of what the party's about and what he's about. And 10 years from now, I also believe you'll put that CD on and it'll take you back to a place that you remember and that was special to you. So, I'm looking forward to see what happens with it.
It's the driving force of the universe and needs to be respected.
We're here on the train, promoting my new album, Bang the Party Volume 1. Here's some of the people that we picked up along the way. That's Steve Ezra. It's they're from the Canal Street station. That's what I got on. This is what what you do promotion-wise when you don't have enough money to do a video. You know, you do some outlaw shit on the train and you promote yourself shamelessly, man. This album is coming out, Sony. You understand? JB, you understand? We are gonna make this album happen. If we gotta do it from subway car to subway car, this album is gonna come out. It's gonna be good. It's got great music on it. So we're gonna take a ride to Brooklyn with these people, and then we're dropping them all off on Atlantic Avenue, and then we're taking them to Moe's in my neighborhood to a bar, and they get them all liquored up and try to make them buy the album, man. So, you know, come take a ride with us and see what happens. So, yo, we're just like, you know, we're playing tracks in the train, man, and that's the results right there. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? In the train, come back to me. In the subway, MTA type, that's how it's going down. It's going down. This is how we're going to promote the album, man. One car at a time, man. One car at a time, man. Check it out. I hope you like it, man.
Do we take this taser to another level? Do we take this taser to another level?
I'm going to keep it short and sweet. This award was presented to the Best Emerging Talent, who I met about 3 or 4 years ago at Frank's Lounge in Brooklyn. He's been DJing for about 20 years. He's come from a DJ to producer, to writer, to remixer. Over the past 12 months, he's had a number of chart topic hits, including It's Yours and I Am the Road. And the Best Emerging Talent award goes to EMAN.
This is my award. So good. I appreciate this award. I really do. Big up to a couple of people. Big up to Strafe, who did Set It Off, all right? Strafe was the first person who told me I should be singing, all right? One of the first people who thought that I should be singing instead of being a DJ or whatever. He was like, if you open your mouth, you can do whatever the fuck you want to be doing. So maybe he was right, maybe he was wrong. Also, big up to fucking Louis Vega, man. Because there's some real fucking people in house music that know how to fucking do label shit. And Louis is one of those fucking people. He's not here, but I'm just showing him the love that I would show him if he was right here, standing right here. I'd make him blush right now, because he's the bomb shit to me. Dave Mancuso. The reason why it was alright for me to even come to a fucking house party, alright? A real fucking house party where he wasn't even mixing, he was just playing good music. So, thanks a lot for this award. I love y'all. Keep supporting this fucking music because we love it. Like I said, me now, I'm more concerned with doing a venue that allows us to really convey what Bang the Party can be. I don't think that venue allowed us to do that. For other people's party, that's fine, because if all you have is a DJ coming to play and people dancing, 667 is a great venue for that. You know what I'm saying? But if you have any vision past that, it's not so good. Or if it's, you know, it's a great venue for people to not pay and just come there and hear a DJ. Yeah, it's good for that.
Right, it's a bar with a dance floor.
Phil Hooton, who is from Leeds, England, I think. Really nice guy, pretty popular DJ producer. wound up coming to my party to play the event from England, and he decided at the time that he was here, he wanted to propose and marry his girlfriend at the time, Kathleen, and he wanted to do it in the middle of Bang the Party. Like he wanted to stop the party and then propose and have the wedding ceremony and then go back to the party. And I thought that was a pretty cool idea, and it had never been done. And we tried feverishly to try to find a minister who could perform the ceremony, but fate would have it we could not get a minister to perform the ceremony.
This is my lovely lady Kate, and we're here to do Bang the Party. I'm here to do Bang the Party on the decks while we're going to get married. And it's Kate's birthday too, so it's another reason to bang the party. Thank you.
Okay. Is there a flash on this? How do I do the flash?
By virtue of the entirety vested in me, according to the laws of the state of New York, I do hereby joyfully pronounce you, Philip and Catherine, to be husband and wife together. May God bless you both with peace, health, and happiness forevermore. May He also bless all who are present here today. Amen. You may now kiss the bride. Yay! Happy New Year! Now, Philip and Catherine will have their first dance together as husband and wife to the music of Frank Sinatra.
All right.
Mr. and Mrs. Hooters, welcome to Brooklyn, America.
They did it.
Anything is possible.
They did it. Show them.
Yes.
Take care. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
So long.
You know, we had the feeling that we wanted to leave the venue, and we had the feeling that the owners were unhappy with us based on the fact that they were always, you know, every time they had an interaction with us, it was somewhat negative or complaining or whatever. So we started talking to another venue, to another owner who was ecstatic that we wanted to work with him. He feels as though we're going to be releasing the Bang the Party album in a few months. You know, we've been working on this documentary for years. We have a lot of things going on. Eric has been DJing, flying all around the world. He's been working on singles. All the singles have been popular. The owner of the new venue thinks, wow, you're really about to, you know, you guys have been working hard and long, and you're about to really do a lot of great things, and all that work is going to come to fruition very soon, and I would like to work with you, and I would like to, he feels as though we're the people with the stuff, but we just need the venue to do it with, and he feels like he's the venue who just needs the people with the stuff. So, you know, that is a perfect marriage.
Give it up again for Talking Soul.
That's cool. I believe about the China booster.
We had a good time here tonight.
I love that.
I just had to say that. So
but that was good. They know it.
I'm Jason. I play bass and sing background vocals in the group.
Ethan, keyboards, backgrounds.
And I'm Christian. And I do the lead vocals.
And he's a drummer. He's a lead singing, drumming motherfucker, man, which is like.
I thought that this was cool tonight. This was dope. So
Christian had started to, you know, he did the first track and most well-known track, Might Do Something Wrong, sort of as like a solo project of his, a side thing that he was doing, and we had started to just the three of us just go to parties and just play and basically off the cuff improvising, doing different stuff than we were doing with Topaz, trying to do more dancey kind of, you know, modern dance grooves and other stuff, and eventually that just sort of, you know, Christian was calling Ethan and I in to play, you know, basically for session work on some of the Tortured Soul stuff that he was working on. The second track was, well, the second thing was When You Find Your Love, but then Fall in Love, and, you know, we started to work on all this stuff together, and How's Your Life was sort of like the first track that was sort of conceived as a group, as a unit, and from there we've just been doing more of the same, and
loving it, man.
Loving it.
This is the woman who basically said that something should be done at 205 Christie in June in 1997. She said that basically we were doing a hip hop party and me and LORIE should try to do something different on a Friday night. So this woman is Jed. She is the woman who basically gave us the opportunity to do Bang the Party. And you can, you know, talk to her about how things have went and what she's observed.
I just remember how the name came up. You should like start with a bang or something, and then there was LORIE and Chuck. Don't forget Chuck. Chuck
is upstairs. Yeah,
he was here.
Oh, he left. But anyway, and he was like, yeah, bang the party, and then that was it, and that was Bang the Party, and I'm so proud of you guys that you kept it going for 6 years.
When you first gave us the idea to do a house music party, did you think that you'd be coming to it 6 years later?
Well, you know, I really didn't know what to expect, but I love the concept, and I think when it's a good concept, and you guys worked very hard, and LORIE did a great job, and you did a great job, and you guys picked great DJs, and that's what happens. And I love your music too, I love your records and everything like that. When you have a reunion, maybe you'll have it one of our bars. Yeah. That would be good, but I'm really proud of you guys, and I'm glad that I made it.
Yes.
From around the corner.
Too.
Yeah. Good luck to Bang the Party reunion parties.
Give it up for First Lady of Bang the Party, LORIE CAVAL. So, there's one thing that you can say about house music. When you're going out, you always send people out good. So, you can depend on that. But on a lighter note, me and LORIE just want all people concerned or who had anything to do with this party. We're, you know, we're loving you for giving us the opportunity to try to make house music go into a new direction, from big clubs to small clubs, and to spread and to let DJs who really don't normally get a chance to play. I'm thankful for that opportunity because I think from this journey that we've been on, a lot of wonderful talent has come from it. The time for Bang the Party to be a weekly event is now over, but it's in theory it's really not over. It's just changing to do different things.
That's right.
That's all. We're still doing events. Tomorrow we're going to Atlanta to do Bang there. Look for us to do something for the Winter Music Conference. You know, and anytime basically we feel like it. We just are not any longer going to hold the burden of doing a weekly event.
I feel good. I feel confused a little bit, and I also feel a little bit upset. I feel good in that I was able to take part in something, you know, for such a long time, which is I never took part in anything this long in my whole entire life, with anything, family, whatever. You know, I remember when I first started, you know, people were always like, oh yeah, you know, I'm down, this is a family, that's a family. And then sometimes, you know, I think people let you down. And I'm frustrated because the same dedication and the same really sincereness that the party started, and you know, I consider myself like a humble worker bee, but the same sincerity and the same dedication that LORIE and Eric put, I really don't feel was returned to them. And I'm not saying that, okay, they did XYZ and they're owed anything, but I mean, when you put your life on hold and when you say, you know what, it's a blizzard, I'm sick, I'm broke, I'm tired, I don't feel like it, but you know what, I'm gonna do it anyway, just so someone else can, you know, smile and them not feel that way, you know, that's a little hurtful.
I just want to thank everybody from, you know, Dave Mancuso, who even gave me the vision to throw a party, you know, and everybody good in house music. There's too many people to really mention.
The one thing that I'm very happy for is that we've been able to provide a lot of people with a lot of good memories through the 6.5 years. And
A lot of sweaty memories.
a lot of sweaty memories. And that's about it. Just thank you.
Give it up to LORIE CAVAL.
Welcome to Bang the Party finale. It's over. And the thing that's funny, a lot of people are asking me tonight, how do you feel? Are you sad? And I feel like in the first couple of people, I started giving them the whole spiel. And then like one guy walked up to me and he said, oh, I can't believe it's over. And I said, well, believe it, buddy, it's over. Have a good time. See you whatever. And you know, I feel good about this ending, even though it's bittersweet, and it's
But it's getting less bitter by the minute.
It's getting less bitter. It's a little more.
It's really a burden. You know, it's to do an event like this on a regular basis is a hard thing. So I think that we're going to look forward to the time that we don't have to do it anymore. I'm still involved in a couple of events like that, but none of the magnitude of this. So it's going to be a good time well spent. We're going to promote. I want to say that the people here at Duplex were the best people, some of the best people we worked with the entire time that we were promoters. They were wonderful. Doc, Jermaine, Kendu, all the bartenders, everybody, they were wonderful. You know what I mean? There was nothing with the space that was wrong. It was just a good place to do the party, and it was, you know, fitting place to end it. You know what I mean? And it's just over as a weekly event. It's not over.
I think that, you know, being the people behind the party, that you know, people come to the party and they have fun and they don't see what goes into it. And for us, for 6.5 years, we have put in not only our money and our energy and our love to the event, but we have put in ourselves, our lives, into creating an environment for people, into maintaining it, into driving it forward and trying to make it good all of the time. For myself, I felt like a big relief of, okay, well, we don't have to do a weekly event. We can end it. We can do whatever we want. We're the ones who are in control of it. And I feel for myself, at least, there are a lot of things that I could do. There are a lot of things that maybe I could have been doing, but that I've been blind to because I've put so much of myself into maintaining this weekly event. And I feel really happy and I feel really hopeful that there is so much more that can come from me as a person, as an individual, as LORIE CAVAL, not Bang the Party, not LORIE and EMAN Produce Entertainment, but just for myself. What can I do with my time? What can I do with myself? And I feel really happy about that. And I feel like I have a big burden lifted off of me. I think if the party would have been going as well as we anticipated or as we hoped, we probably would have kept doing it forever. We probably would have kept on and on and on. And then, you know, who knows? I think that God lets you know when it's time to stop doing things, lets you know when it's time for something new to happen. And I feel like definitely for Eric and myself, it's time for new things to come into our lives. And I feel happy for the time that we've spent doing Bang the Party. And I feel like we've gotten a lot out of it. We've both gotten to meet hundreds and thousands of people. We've got to travel. We've got to do music. We've got to make this film. We've got to do a lot of things that were positive and good. And now it's time to do other things, new things, and things that we don't even know what are going to happen. So I feel really good about that, and I'm happy that on this last day of Bang the Party, this last night, everyone's upstairs right now having fun and dancing and lifting their hands and sweating and being happy. And that's all we ever wanted to do, was give people that opportunity to be themselves and express themselves, and they're doing it now. And I think that it's a fitting ending to 6.5 years. So.
And that's it.
Every Friday was a different experience. Music, dance, love. EMAN and LORIE are like family to me.
It was family, it was small, it was quality music, it was people and friends, it was good.
And I just feel so at home here. It's just a beautiful party and a wonderful vibe, and the floor is smooth from people that have been dancing on it forever, you know, it's just really nice.
I will forever be grateful to LORIE and Eric for having this party, because I have made the best friends that I've ever had in my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bang the Party is a state of mind. We have always been here as long as we have not been here.
It's someplace that I'll tell my grandchildren about, because I'm sure that I'll have kids here in Brooklyn, thanks to Frank's and Bang the Party and all of the relationships that I met.
10 years later, we find ourselves at Frank's Lounge. In the year 2009, we first brought Bang the Party here in 1999. And a lot of things have changed, and we've all grown and evolved as people, but so many of us are still friends, and we still have a lot of the relationships that we built and fostered at Bang. And I'm grateful, even though we're not doing the party anymore, we still have our friendship and love and the music.
I don't know if there's gonna be a stopping point, so until they basically wheel me to a home.
should tread lightly, run it up.